Hi everyone, Papa here, and today's episode features highlights of my hike at the Spring Valley Nature Preserve in Granville, Ohio. According to their website, Spring Valley consists of 45 acres of beautiful wooded property with marked nature trails, an open field, woodlands, shelter houses, and ample paved parking. I've never been here before, but from my research, it seems to be a popular hiking area that has 12 marked trails. I'm not sure of the range of difficulty of the trails, but it seems like they all intersect as you either go straight on some of the trails as an out and back or loop around on some of the trails. At the small parking area that I parked at for the hike, they had a kiosk that had a map of the 12 trails, a list of the Spring Valley Nature Preserve guidelines, and other information. Also included is a trifold Nature Preserve trail map. So with map in hand, I'm going to head out. My goal is to start on the Roberts Ridge Trail, which is the red marked trail on the map, and then see where it takes me from there. So let's get started. Turning left from the parking area and the kiosk, I'm headed across a small grassy area. And now a small gravel vehicle turnaround area. And if my reading of the map is right, which it is, this is the Roberts Ridge Trail. Now if I went to the right here, I could pick up the Proposal Tree Trail. But for now, starting on Roberts Ridge Trail. So we start out coming across a well-constructed wooden bridge across this small creek. It does have some running water in it. So we are already starting out with a very scenic view just at the beginning of the trail. I would say if you do this hike and come across this bridge, be careful with small children. This area is open at the bottom of the bridge, and it's about a 10-foot drop, give or take. So I would definitely be cautious with small children coming across that bridge. Now it appears the trail comes this way. Well, I had said I wasn't sure how challenging it was going to be, but I'm already coming to somewhat of an incline here, though there are steps to go up. So that's definitely making the climb easier than it would be if you were just going straight up the hill. So the steps curve around, bringing us to the top. Now another signpost. So I'm going to continue to the right on the Roberts Ridge Trail. I could go left to go to Songbird Trail, but for now I'm going to stay on Roberts Ridge. Hi. Hi. In this area, you can definitely tell where the trail is. Ideally, it's going to be like that for the entire hike. I believe enough people use these trails, that they're well beaten down. Hi. It's about noon on an early fall day, sunny and about 75 degrees. So now panning to the right, you can see the creek down below. Then across the way is where I parked. So again, we're going to continue on the Roberts Ridge Trail. One thing I don't know from my research online and looking at all of the information available here on site, even on the trail map, I don't know the distances of any of the trails. The only number I've been able to come across is that the Spring Valley Nature Preserve has 45 acres, and I know that it has 12 trails, but distance of the trails I don't know. All right, here I can continue going to the right for the Roberts Ridge Trail. Now if I were to go to the left here, I could take the Flower Pot Trail. So again, I'm going to take this Roberts Ridge Trail. And again, with small children, you'll want to be careful because to the right is a very steep cliff going down. You don't want to slip. Good morning. You just need to be cautious. And like many trails through wooded areas, you have to watch for tree roots and rocks and loose dirt, slipping hazards. Now I'm going down a slight decline here. And even though it's 75 degrees outside, let's say it's a good 5 degrees or so cooler where I am now. All right, here's another intersection. I'm going to continue going to the right, following Roberts Ridge Trail. But if I turn left here, I could pick up Owl Gulch Trail. So let's continue and see what's up with the Roberts Ridge Trail. Big tree root there, big tree, lots of tree roots. Have to be cautious. Well-marked exit sign. So you can turn to the right here and exit and get to the proposal tree area, or continue to the right, Roberts Ridge Trail. And there are various benches throughout the area that I've seen so far, paid for and dedicated to certain people. And another area where I could turn and go to the Owl Gulch Trail again. Continuing on, Roberts Ridge Trail. Well, the website said it's wooded property, and that's definitely the case. Very enjoyable. The community that this is in, Granville, is a somewhat small community that's east of Ohio's capital city of Columbus. And you can easily find the address and directions to get here by doing a web search for Spring Valley Nature Preserve. Very big tree, going up into the canopy. So far I've seen a good mixture of very mature trees and some younger trees. Another intersection where I could go left and take Daniel's Way. I'm going to continue on Roberts Ridge Trail. If I'm not mistaken, if I do this right, Roberts Ridge Trail is basically a straight shot. Well, it does wind around, but it's not a loop. You can either do it as a one-way hike, and we'll come out the other end near the parking lot, or you can do it as an out and back. Here's a bench provided by Girl Scout Troop 102 and a marker on the bench itself. So we're on the right trail. One thing you won't find, which is common on other hikes that I've been on, is trail markers on the trees. So you just need to watch for the beaten path and look for those periodic markers on posts or benches, letting you know where you are. Again, I'm on a trail that's on the edge of a cliff that if you're not careful, you could slip and go down the edge and tumble down, especially small children. But it's a beautiful day for hiking here in Ohio. Winter weather will be up on us before you know it. And so far, I have found this hike to be very enjoyable, very scenic, a pleasant day and a pleasant hike. And I've passed by several people out enjoying the trails as well. Good day to you.
Hello.
And from all of the research I did and reading up on it, dogs are authorized on all of these trails. And I've seen many people out here with their dogs. Good place to come take the dogs for a walk, get some exercise for the dog owners and for the dogs. We're going down now. Got a decline here. And the trail takes a sharp left. You don't want to go straight and go down that. But we'll come this way. So it looks like it's going to be a series of switchbacks coming around. Got to be careful not to slip and fall and tumble down the cliff. So as long as the camera were to stay on, it might make for some interesting video where I'd tumble down the cliff into the creek, but I'd rather not. And now, looks like people have created their own bypass to the switchbacks, but I'm just going to keep following the switchback. Coming back around the corner again, continuing on. Now we're a little bit lower on the cliff, Hi. A little steep here, loose dirt and rocks, so taking it a little easy there. Lots of leaves on the ground as well, since the leaves have started falling. So those could be a slipping hazard if you're not careful. All right, so we have Roberts Ridge Trail. I see, okay, so the Roberts Ridge Trail, and I'm glad I stopped to look at this post. I might have kept going that way, but looking at the post, that will take me to Valley Trail, and I came from up above, so I need to turn and come back this way and cross over the creek. So if I read that signpost correctly, I'm back on the Roberts Ridge Trail now on the other side of the creek. This is definitely a beaten path here. I do believe I read that signpost correctly, and we should come again to a Roberts Ridge Trail signpost. As the leaves fall, they can start to obscure the trail a little bit, but I'm able to see it well enough. Lots of interesting things out here. There's an interesting growth on that tree. Maybe some fungus. Quite large. Okay. Now we're continuing on. Coming around another big tree. Going down again. Being careful not to slip. And we're winding around. Here's another small wooden bridge to get us across the creek. Solid bridge. And the trail appears to come back up this side. And we're up away from the creek and the cliff area. Another signpost. Oh, here's the type of trail marker I'm used to. So this is the first one I've seen. There's a trail marker on the tree. And so if we turn left here, we would take Beech Tree Loop. But where we came from to the right is Roberts Ridge, and straight ahead is Roberts Ridge Trail. So we are on track. Another turn, Fern Gully to the right. Beech Tree Loop can go left or right, and Roberts Ridge Trail left or right. We're going to continue on here. It should be the Roberts Ridge Trail again. Not too much vegetation crossing over into the trail. There are a few areas. I haven't encountered anything that's been a hazard though. No thorns or nettles. Okay, another signpost. Roberts Ridge Trail goes to the right here. Beech Tree Loop, left and right. To South Trail goes to the right. So I would say, just based on the signs and the orientation, I would think that Beech Tree Loop and South Trail, you would go up here. Roberts Ridge Trail back the way I came. The confusing part is this. So if I follow the arrow directly, I might be tempted to go here, down this way, but it seems more likely that I should go this way. And I'm gonna go straight right. I'm gonna take that sign at face value and say what they mean for us to come down. If I don't find a marker down here, I'll double back. But it's clear that people have come down this way. I'm not as certain that this is the right way. I don't see any bridge on the creek up there. So I do believe my initial inclination was correct, that maybe people have gotten confused and kind of created that little jut of a trail. But this looks like the more marked and beaten down path. According to the map, we do want to cross the creek one more time, I believe. This looks like what we should be doing to get to the creek. Coming down another switchback. Coming over some tree roots carefully. And winding down and around. A little bit of a challenge. You're going around a corner, over some tree roots, and downhill. So, we'll be happy to see another Roberts Ridge Trail marker post up ahead, or to see a very clearly marked path across the creek to let me know where you're on track. But this is definitely well used in this section, so I believe we are on track. And here we go. We have a bridge. Another well-constructed bridge. So we have the bridge, a solid bridge over the creek, and another sign. Roberts Ridge Trail. So we are on track. And I do believe we're nearing the end of this trail. Lots of sounds of nature out here. Insects, birds. And even though there's a small highway not too far away, you don't hear much of the sound of vehicles going down the highway. Really what you hear more are the sounds of nature. Stop here for a second and just listen. And now we'll continue on. Nice little tree canopy above us. This is very interesting. So you want to look up, but also down, because there's lots of tree roots exposed. These trees that go above our heads are interesting as well. Okay, now we've got an intersection with the valley trail. Ah, I see. Okay, so we have reached the end of the Roberts Ridge Trail. So the marker only goes back the way we came from either side, and Valley Trail goes left and right, which is a purple trail. So looking at the map, we started here, parking area there, we came up this red route, and now we've come back out again to another parking area. So if you Got a vehicle pre-staged here. You could do it as just a one-way. I'm not sure how to get to that parking area though. You know, there are other side trails that you can take. So the purple one is the Valley Trail. So if we go left or right. So what I'm going to do is come out here to the left. Since this is the first time I've ever been here, I want to do some exploring. Now this says the Sugar Maple Loop, and from looking at the map, looks like the Sugar Maple Loop is out in the open. So let's go ahead and explore that. Looks like Sugar Maple is just this loop. So off to the right, you could jump back on to Sunset Loop. Obviously a loop trail there. And for now, I'm doing the Sugar Maple Loop. My guess would be this open field to the left with all of these trees that look very deliberately planted and with little fences around them. Looks like there are dozens, if not 100 or more. I'm not a tree expert, but if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say they're sugar maples. And that's why this is the Sugar Maple Loop. Can definitely tell we're out in the sunshine now. Warmed up quite a bit coming out of the woods. By now it's approaching 80 degrees out here. Still nice. Nice day for a hike. As a family and solo, we enjoy getting out, hiking, finding new areas. So now here is the Sunset Loop again. Could go in there for the Sunset Loop. I do really appreciate all of the information available for this area and the trail maps with the different color-coded maps for all of the loops and out and backs and one-way trails. And I especially like the fact that you can get on one trail like the Roberts Ridge Trail, and from there, near as I can tell, you can reach every other trail fairly easily. So if you wanted to come out and just do Roberts Ridge, you could do that, say out and back. Or if you wanted to do one of the shorter trails, a loop trail, you could do that. You do see that this loop brings us out near a road. This isn't the major highway I was talking about. This is a smaller road that we can see here. According to the map, somewhere around here there's a parking area. So I suspect as we work our way around the loop, we'll see a parking area. You see what looks like residential property to the right. We're just continuing on, circling around Sugar Maple Loop. Wind is picking up. Have a nice breeze going. Feels good. Still have not seen anything that looks like parking for the preserve, but we haven't made our way all the way around the loop either. They do have the trail here on this loop mowed a little shorter than the rest of this open field. So I do believe I'm staying on the loop. Even if I get off the loop, shouldn't be too difficult to find my way back to Roberts Ridge Trail. Another residential property straight ahead. And now as we come around, there's the parking area. At the area where I parked, at the other end, which was the first parking area I came to off the highway, there were about half a dozen vehicles there. This area is just one vehicle, smaller parking area. Not sure from looking at the map where you come in to get to this parking area. Looks like you may need to go on some side streets past some houses, but the sign does say parking for park patrons only. So this is definitely the parking area. I'd say there's room here comfortably for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 vehicles at most. Not a lot of parking at the other end either. If you got creative, you could probably get a dozen or more vehicles in on that end. Now we're continuing around. About to go back into the shade here as we get into the tree canopy area. Gentle breeze continuing to blow. Now, that is an area where you can come in off the small residential road, so that's not a trail. And now we've made the loop. So that was a pleasant loop out in the sunshine. We could pick up the Valley Trail. We did the Sugar Maple Loop. For today though, I believe I'll just go back on Roberts Ridge and then head out. So here we are. Roberts Ridge Trail. If I went straight, I'd pick up the Valley Trail. I'm going to go back the way we came. So everything that you've already seen, you're now going to see in reverse. I'm just going to stop narrating for now and speed up the video a little bit to get us back along the Roberts Ridge Trail back to the beginning of the hike. Well, as I approach the end of the hike, let me share a few more thoughts. I really enjoyed coming out here and hiking. I definitely plan on coming back again, both by myself and the family. I believe Kate and Kai, his mommy, and Mima would really enjoy this area and doing the various trails. If I have one critique for this area, it's the lack of mileage. I definitely recommend that whoever's in charge add the approximate mileage to the website and to the trail maps for each of the trails. Perhaps I'll come back another day and do all 12 of the loops, either in the same day or on separate days, and track the mileage so I can give you a better idea on our channel of what the mileage is for the various hikes. Coming to the end of today's hike, and say I'm within 3 to 5 minutes of being back at the vehicle. I'll post the total time here in the video. My rough estimate is somewhere in the 45-minute range, give or take, that it's taken me to do the Roberts Ridge Trail out and back. I went all the way to the end of the Roberts Ridge Trail, and then I did the Sugar Maple Loop. I'm back on the steps, these wooden platform steps that bring us down and around where the hike began. Starting to hear the sounds of the highway a little more clearly, and the sounds of nature are fading. Coming around now. It really looks like you can go in a lot of different directions to get to the various trails, and you can find the parking area at the other end and park there instead of parking where I did, coming across this wooden bridge that I started the hike on. Well, this has been a truly enjoyable hike. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks as always for supporting us. Please subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Goodbye, everyone.